Hi everybody, Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRFBets race of the day for Thursday, September the 20th. Race number 9 at beautiful Belmont Park. We're going 1 mile and a 16th on the Widener turf course. It's a race you can bet with a new DRFBets account. Easy to sign up. Go to bets.drf.com. Immediately receive a 300% deposit match. Here is the field for race number 9. 3-year-old fillies, again, going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. Entry-level optional claimer, $77,000 is the purse. You can access free formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, Mike, beginning with the number 2, Emmy Performance. A little half-sister to Oscar Performance, Oscar nominated. It is too early to give up on Emmy Performance. And last time out, she kind of just got hung out wide, never really got covered up.
Yeah, I feel like that compromised her a little bit last time. A race that did get wired, and she was, always chasing wide. A couple of closers came and got by her late in the stretch there for second and third. I thought that performance was fine. I sort of felt similarly about her race 2 starts back. They tried to stretch her out a bit. Always on the outside in a pace that got wired, never really could get into it. It felt like maybe the mile-and-a-quarter was a little too far for her. I thought her maiden win 3 starts back was a pretty good performance. I like the way she finished in that race. And I feel like there's some upside with this horse, Dan. I do think she's going to have to improve a little bit in a field like this one, but I think the improvement's in her. I think she's a player in this race.
Draws an inside post position, might be able to work out a decent enough trip under Joel Rosario, perhaps saving ground this time around on the backstretch. Quivery is the number 3, post position 2. This horse made her North American debut at Saratoga in that Emmy Performance race, finishing right behind that foe. To me, it just looked like the connections were giving her a race around the track. She showed no speed whatsoever, was last on the rail turning into the stretch. Johnny Velasquez eased her out gradually to the outside, and she basically ran the last 1/8 of a mile. I think she can improve off that effort, given enough pace, because she looks like she has no speed.
Yeah, I feel similar about her, though. I feel like she just really needed that race off the layoff there. I mean, she just didn't break at all, had no speed early, trailed that field. Not only did she trail it all the way up the backstretch and all the way through the turn, she was still last at the 8th pole and over behind horses. Johnny only got her clear very late, and she ran on a little bit. We'll see if she can do better. I think she can do better, certainly based on her starts over in Europe, because her first 2 starts were both really good. She won both of them. She wasn't great from the gate in either of those races, but she got herself into position in those races. And then she really ran, and she even ran well in that Group 3, always down towards the inside, trying to find her way through traffic. I think this horse has some ability, and I think this is a good spot for them to, have that first race out of the way, get her maybe into a better position in this race, and show a little bit more.
Bramble Queen is the number 4. This horse returned from her native Illinois after she beat state-bred non-winners of one other than at Arlington. She set some legitimate fractions last time out, going 1 mile and 3/16. Now, she might be overmatched at this level at this point in her career, but I think you can at least make an excuse that she went a little bit too fast. She's shortening up in distance, and she'll be among the front runners again.
Yeah, right. I agree with all that stuff. I mean, there's just no way she was going to beat Mighty Scarlet last time anyway. Horse was just way too good for that field. So all in all, that wasn't a poor performance. There are a lot of decent performances on her card, too. She's not that fast on speed figures. She's not that flashy overall. But she's won 5 times in a non-winner 1 allowance race. And her trainer actually sent some pretty live horses out there at prices. So I don't like her in this race, Dan, but I wouldn't totally dismiss her.
Data Dependent is part of the Klarovich stable Chad Brown coupled entry. Data Dependent is only 1 for 9 lifetime. She's lost races at 17-10, at 6-5, at 3-1 twice. Last time out, she finished ahead of both Emmy Performance and Quivery. She earned a big buyer speed figure for that race. You know she's going to take a lot of money, but this is now her 5th try at this entry-level optional claiming condition, and I just think she's a little bit of an underlay. I realize she can win. She's just not for me.
Yeah, I mean, we have similar feelings about her. I mean, I don't have anything to add to that. I know that she can win this race. She ran fine last time, sort of making that last run and getting up for second. Her other races just don't really do it for me, Dan. I did feel like as a 2-year-old, she was sort of racing her way into shape. She looked a little green early. I felt like she was improving from start to start. They brought her back in the Swedish Channel to layoff this year. She was terrible in that race, and I don't really like what she's done since. I don't want her as the favorite.
Big step up in class for the 5, Fast Track Catherine, who was claimed by Michelle Nevin out of a winning effort at Saratoga in a conditioned claimer. Now, she's listed as a vet scratch on September the 2nd at Saratoga, which is somewhat worrisome. What I liked about Fast Track Catherine's win in that claiming race, maybe it was the yielding ground and she just moved way up, but boy, She got bounced, or she stumbled at the start. She got bounced around turning into the stretch. Irad just altered course down towards the inside, and she was too much for those horses. She won ridden out. She deserves a chance against these tougher horses, and the price should be right off the claim.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with her. It'll be interesting to see what she does, because off of that win that you're talking about at Saratoga, and she ran great that day. There was a pretty good pace going on in that race, but all things considered, she ran really well and won very easily. And it's also worth pointing out their only other turf start where she really felt like she had a chance. She got a perfect trip and won easily that day too. We'll see how good she is. This is a really tough spot, I think, for Michelle Nevin to have to run her in, because as you point out, she was scratched by the vet once. She was also entered, I believe, 3 other times since that race early in the Saratoga meet. Once for a claiming tag, twice in starter allowance races. Michelle's been trying to find an easier spot for her, and she can't get races to go. So she may just be forced to run her in this race, and it might be too tough for her, but she was good last time.
Chad trains data dependent for Klarovich. Rick Violette has the 1A Super Committee, the other half of this Klarovich-owned entry. A rather consistent filly by the factor. She won for a $75,000 maiden claiming tag last time out. Perhaps the best thing about her is her tactical speed. She can adapt to the pace scenario.
Right. I mean, maybe she gets a good trip in this race, and maybe she improves enough to be a factor, but I think she's in too tough in this race. And it doesn't even really matter if you like her, Dan, because she's coupled with that independence. You can't get a price on her.
Indy's ladies entered main track only, so we'll move on to the 7 Sweet Sting and the 8 Bratata. 2 horses dropping in class, 2 horses that could easily win a race like this. I mean, listen, Sweet Sting was in against a very good horse in La Moneda 2 starts back. That horse got the jump on her turning into the stretch. She ran really well, and she had no pace to run at last time out in the risk averse.
Yeah, compromised badly last time, I thought, and maybe that performance isn't as bad as it looks. I thought she ran well 2 starts back behind La Moneda. Just couldn't go with that horse. La Moneda is super sharp right now, but this horse ran well behind her to be second in that race. And she's another one. She's really well bred. She's really improving from race to race. Her trainer's been on a pretty good run lately. There are a lot of things to like about this horse.
Bratata, graded stakes place for Chad Brown earlier this year. Then she was washed off the turf. You can draw a line through that soaring softly. I thought the Wild Applause, all things considered, was an okay race. Not a lot of pace. Got stormy. A red-hot horse won it. And last time out, 5.5 furlongs is just too short for her.
Yeah, I mean, just cutting her back in that Coronation Cup last time, a race that did not have any pace at all in there. I don't know how she was supposed to win it. The race 2 starts back was sort of a similar situation. I actually felt like she was a really good third in there. That race did not set up for her at all, but she ran well. It's just one race after another with her, Dan. It took her a while to break her maiden with a bunch of excuses before she did it. And then once she did finally break her maiden with a really impressive run, all stakes races for her. She's back to her available condition. I'm getting a little tired of making excuses for her, but I actually think she's pretty good, and I think she's really dangerous.
Very live in this spot, I would think. Naples Legacy, the 9, entered main track only. We'll move to the 10, Agreeable, a very expensive daughter of Colonel John, who finally broke through last time out at Monmouth Park. Now, her buyers pale somewhat to the top contenders, but this filly has a little bit of upside. Maybe she's figuring the game out.
Yeah, we'll see if she can improve enough, and what seems like it's a pretty tough 1X allowance here. They had to take her out of town to get the maiden win last time. I didn't like the fields she was in her 2 New York races. I didn't think she ran that well. So she's hard for me to like in this race.
First time turf for the 11, Cosita Mia. This one's by Distorted Humor, 11% winners from first time turf runners. I just see nothing but dirt on the bottom of this pedigree. The dam's a half to Battle Plan, graded stakes winner going long on the dirt. Dam's a 3/4 to Surfside, multiple grade 1 winner. A full to Flanders Fields, who is also a dirt horse. The second dam, Flanders, was a champion 2-year-old on the dirt. Cosita Mia is going to show some speed stretching out fresh off the layoff, but I'm just not sure she's really turf bred.
Yeah, I felt the same way about her. I mean, I guess she ran fine to break her maiden first time out in a race where she took a lot of money. Didn't run well at all last time. I don't see the turf pedigree for her.
Let's take a look at our top picks for Thursday's DRFBets Race of the Day. It is the 9th. You're going to go with Quivery. I thought, again, nice performance first time off the layoff, because I think they just gave her a run. If she gets some pace, she could come running late. This is a very underrated trainer that usually sends out overlaid horses.
Yeah, that really played into my thinking with putting her on top, because I do think a lot of horses can win here. It's sort of a wide open race, and trips will go a long way to deciding, I think, who comes out on top. I just thought she'd be a good price and take a step forward second time out.
I just didn't want this coupled entry at a short price. I think Data Dependent could run second. I think she's more likely to run second than win, although she could easily win this race. I'm going to take a chance with Fast Track Catherine. I thought visually she was very good last time out, but the points you made, the stepping up in distance, all the scratches since that race, it's somewhat concerning. I'm hoping hoping that Fast Track Catherine, a horse that was reclaimed by Michael Maker at one point in her career, indicating that he kind of liked this filly a little bit, maybe at a price, Fast Track Catherine. I'll go 5, 1, 2, and 3 in our Thursday DRFBets race of the day. Bet it with a new DRFBets account and be rewarded. 300% deposit match can be yours when you sign up at bets.drf.com. Approximate post time for race number 9 at Belmont Park on Thursday, 5:50 Eastern. Good luck.